sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. A multiverse as vast as eternity, as timeless as the Infinity Gems. It is the middle ground between the big two and the indie publishers, between sci-fi and mysticism, and it lies between the pages of the reader's imagination. At the summit of entertainment, the dimension of comics, where a humble service is held. We call this service the Gospel of Comics.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics. I am your host, the Church of Failure, and with me as always is my trusty co-host, Ayrton McCartney. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I've been watching too much wrestling, so you know my answer is going to be, it doesn't matter how you're doing. Anyway, we are joined this afternoon by, this evening, I guess, by a very special guest, Mr. Adam Friended, brought to us by the one and only best producer, Atomic Denny. How are you guys doing this evening?
Yep.
Best.
I'm great. Thanks for inviting me on. This is awesome.
Oh, well, no.
No, thanks for being on.
We definitely are humbled by your presence, sir. You are a very, very well-known and well-liked YouTuber. And you have been featured on some of the biggest programs in Comicsgate and in the political sphere. I have noticed in my research.
Skepticism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was on. I was lucky enough to Sargon had us on his channel recently to promote our show. I do a show once a week with another YouTuber, PSA Sitch, and I've been on. I think I was on Mahler's show one time, and I've been on Ethan's a couple of times. So yeah, it's cool.
I've caught a few of the Comicsgate lives that you've been on. They're really good. I really enjoy you as a guest. When you and Wenger are on.
Wenger.
Yeah, I've been on Wenger's a bunch of times too.
We
love going on his show.
We've got to be fair though. Wenger makes the show when you're on with Wenger. Like he's the best. I love that
guy. He's awesome.
But
he was a great guest on the show too.
But in research for this particular show, I was looking into it and I was like, okay, so usually the guests we have on here, we really align in the comics field. A lot of people try to avoid the political sphere of YouTube and Twitter because, let's be honest, it's exhausting.
I agree.
So I was actually pleasantly surprised to see someone out there who basically voices their opinions in a matter-of-fact way and has a very large audience and whatnot. And I was very excited to find out that Denny was able to nag you. That's why he's the best producer, Aaron. Your personal feelings aside, you two can battle it out in the backyard later.
Fuck you, Ayrton.
Oh, we will.
But yes.
Come at me, bro.
Anyway,
I think I started following Denny because I liked his art, so I didn't even know he was a producer at the time.
He wasn't at the
much,
time.
By the way.
He weaseled his way into that by pulling guests that I didn't have the gall to attract, or not attract, but
he's
to
afraid.
approach.
He's afraid of talking.
Well, I don't want to step outside of my lane.
Not the bag.
What was that?
I don't step outside of my lane too heavy. But we have had some interesting people on. Go ahead.
Well, you had said that you thought political YouTube was a minefield. I kind of stumbled into political YouTube, basically kind of for the same kind of goals that CG has. Like I was not a fan of the political polarization that's going on. I was not a fan of the demonization of the right. And that's kind of why I started making YouTube videos. So it's very in sync with the ideas of Comicsgate. I think Comicsgate kind of formed because they were sick of that kind of stuff.
Well, you said that
you and I were.
Go ahead, Denny.
Well, yeah. Adam and I were having a little bit of a conversation in the waiting room before the show. It wasn't very long, but I mentioned that like I used to be a big Sargon fan, and then I kind of fell into internet blood sports when that sort of sphere started to cross over with like the Kumite, and then I fell into like the Ralph Retort and whatever. and like I don't know, that I guess kind of drew me into Comicsgate. Some of the because I was just following internet drama. I was chasing that kind of that kind of thing, and I like one of my roommates is really big into like comic books, Comicsgate, and Ethan Van Sciver, and he was like telling me about like, oh, Jawbreakers. Like, have you heard about um what was the name of Zach's old Diversity in Comics? Have you watched Diversity in Comics? Have you watched Ethan Van Sciver? And like that's kind of how I fell into. But I mean, I've always had a passion. I feel like you and I maybe have a similar like background. We fell into this because we didn't like we followed like Sargon and stuff because we didn't like the, like you said, the demonization of the right, the rise of feminism, all of that. And then we saw it bleeding over into the cultures we liked, like comic books, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Denny. Now, if you will, let the guest introduce himself, you mouthy bastard.
I'll shut up. I thought I thought we did that. I'm sorry.
Well, I would like Adam to introduce himself for those that might not be familiar with him or have spent the last few days like scouring through his content and his Twitter panel like a creepy stalker.
Well,
What's up?
I joined YouTube in late 2015, so I've been on YouTube for quite a while now. I made videos doing all kinds of different stuff. I started doing daily videos maybe a couple years ago on my Think Club channel. My Think Club channel started growing. Daily videos will really help you grow a channel pretty quickly. My channel got demonetized for absolutely no reason. I have no idea why my channel got demonetized. A lot of my friends on YouTube have been demonetized for no reason, especially in the commentary community. Obviously, a lot of us believe, because it always seems to be people on the right that are getting demonetized. I don't even really consider myself. Yeah, I don't even really consider myself on the right, but I sympathize with the right because it's the right that are the ones that are getting shut down. And I guess just sympathizing with the right is enough these days because it got my entire channel demonetized.
Oh, absolutely.
I had to delete.
Well, yeah, you're basically Heimler.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You're Heimler with the right.
You're Heimler to Hitler, so.
Well, this bugs the shit out of me because the left has kind of framed any kind of public discourse in you're either a progressive or you're a racist. And it's like, I don't know how we can have a civil dialogue if that's the case. It's great. That is great. Actually, I would say that generally it is the case that they're both, because the progressives seem to be some of the most racist people out there.
Well, Joe Biden, did you see what he did today? Did you see his major?
I did. I know. Yeah.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Imagine having worse responses than Joe Biden.
I can't. Yeah, exactly.
To be fair to Joe, though, he doesn't really know what's going on. He has like 17 different versions of Alzheimer's right now.
Did you see that clip of him talking to that black girl who said, "If I was your daughter and I was being harassed by the police or something, if I was like falsely arrested or like falsely like beaten by the police or something like that, what would you say to me? What would your advice to me be?" And he's like, "If you were my daughter, you'd be Caucasian, and you wouldn't be."
I mean, he's not wrong. But no. So we've got an idea of your, how you got into to political YouTube. Also, everybody in the chat, anybody coming to watch this video later, check out the description down below. If you're not familiar with Adam, both of his YouTube channels that I was able to find. I don't know if he has any others. But his Friended YouTube and his Think Club YouTube, which good play on Fight Club, is in the description down below.
Totally.
You can also find his Twitter at Friended Forever down below. So give him a follow on those things, subscribe, all that good stuff.
So
that's that blood sports attitude Denny was talking about.
Oh yeah, well, to kind of get into it, you see what my username is on Twitter. Were you familiar with the old Kumite?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I did see.
Go ahead.
I did see Nick Rekieta when he did. I mean, who was the main guy that ran the
Tonka
Kumite?
Squall.
Nick
Yeah, Tonka
Tonka
Saw.
Saw.
Yeah, Tonka. I did watch
Who?
a stream where Nick Rekieta had
Wrestle
Tonka
Dong.
on. Yeah, exactly. Because there was a rumor that he was in a wheelchair and he was just,
It's not in a wheelchair. The real truth is that it's an orthopedic back chair. He has back problems because he got fucked up when he was wrestling. So, for several hours a day, he has to sit in like this orthopedic chair.
So the fight with Andy Worski could never really happen then? Is that the case?
Well,
yeah.
I think it could have happened, but Tonka was deliberately trying to not have it happen. It would seem.
Well, yeah. I actually came into being on this sphere. I was an avid watcher of the Kumite when it was still fun, and they talked about things like Godzilla and wrestling. But as they fell further and further down the degenerate rabbit hole of hating everyone that disagreed with them, I kind of jumped ship. But before then, I was watching one day, and Tonka had made some kind of offhand comment about being annoyed by buildings having Twitter accounts. So his co-host had a YouTube channel by the name of Church of Failure.
Failure, I know.
So I actually made the Twitter account for Church of Failure and started tweeting at them during the show. And it just kind of spun from there. Comicsgate happened, and then, the kill stream happened, the Kumite imploded. Bloodsports imploded and then was revived, and it's all.
We were there for it all.
We were, and the real Bloodsports were the friends we. The real Bloodsports were the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But
that's always a problem when you continue to cut your audience in half, because everyone on YouTube really likes everyone. Everyone kind of listens to everyone, so you always have overlapping fans with other people. And then when you start fighting with them, like Tonka was known to do, you kind of end up having your audience every time you have a fight with someone.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you see how that fractalizes audiences. You see it all the time. You saw it happen with. I mean, you've seen it happen with Sargon before. You've seen it happen with
the Doug TeNapel and Mike Miller split, all that.
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Actually, that kind of brings me into a point, because I don't have too long on the podcast here, so I wanted to ask Adam. Oh, shut up,
you stole my line.
Oh, well, if I wasn't here, Adam wouldn't be here, so I guess.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, you guys got to understand. You got to treat your producer well. Are you kidding me?
No, it's a bit, man. It's a bit. You gotta go with it.
It's a bit.
They know I love
me, but they know I'm the best of them. Anyway, I wanted to ask. So I was listening to your stream with Kelsey Shannon, and I think you guys got into Doug TeNapel a little bit, and you were like talking about, well, like Doug, when you first decided you wanted to make a comic book or a graphic novel, you were like talking to Doug TeNapel before you were even introduced to Comicsgate, because like there's all this bad press about Comicsgate, and you didn't want to be involved with anything that was legitimately like full of like crazy people, exactly. Right? Yeah.
Them Nazis.
And so Doug TeNapel asked to talk with you, or I get right, and you ended up on was it a stream or was it just a call with Doug, where he was like
Doug TeNapel was pitching Earthworm Jim at the time, so he wanted promotion. So I was doing debates once a week on my Think Club channel, and I just made an offer for debates, and somebody said, "Oh, Doug TeNapel could do this," and he signed up to do a debate on abortion. I don't know why you'd want to do an abortion debate while you're running a campaign, but I was like, okay,
seems like something Doug would do.
I know. Now that I know Doug better, I'm like, okay, well, that totally makes sense. Yeah. But then he came on, he did that debate, and then we just kind of started talking after that, because he wanted to pick my brain about how to grow his YouTube channel.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, that doesn't surprise me about Doug at all. That seems like exactly the kind of move he would make. He's kind of outspoken like that, which I guess maybe is why a lot of people like him. I'm not the biggest Doug TeNapel fan, but you mentioned that one of his biggest one of his biggest pieces of advice to you was like, don't ship internationally, because he had all this trouble. And basically what it amounted to was he didn't want to have to reach into his pockets to ship books to his fans internationally.
That's the infamous
I didn't find that out
106.
till after. Exactly. I didn't find out about the hundreds. Like, he didn't tell, when he was telling me not to do international shipping, to avoid international shipping, he didn't tell me, oh, by the way, I'm making a book that weighs 35 pounds. He didn't tell me that I'm like, I fucked over these 106 people in Europe because my book was so goddamn heavy I couldn't send it there. Like, he didn't tell me any of this stuff. I'm shipping a square bound book, a soft cover book. There's no half of my audience is in Europe. Like, it's not going to be a problem.
You're discounting what it actually was, though. It wasn't just one 35-pound book; it was two. He was shipping a hardcover book and then a making of book that was equally as thick and heavy. So it was two books he was shipping at that tier that he got screwed over on.
Yeah.
So would you say that is not sound advice then for people that may be looking to get into producing their own comic then?
I constantly tell people don't take advice from Doug TenNapel. Like, there's so many good people in Comicsgate that you can take advice from. Why would you be taking advice from Doug TenNapel? I'll go even further here, because I think Doug TenNapel was the one giving Sean Gordon Murphy advice, because he did that. Sean Gordon Murphy did that cover for him, and they probably did a similar exchange like I did with Doug. Doug wanted him to do a cover, and then Doug would offer advice on how to run your crowdfunding campaign.
Right.
So I think Doug probably told Sean Gordon Murphy the same thing that Doug told me. I mean, obviously, Sean Gordon Murphy took it differently because he's a huge, Marvel. Is he Marvel or DC? A huge DC artist.
DC,
yeah.
DC.
He's a huge Batman DC artist. But Doug TenNapel looked at my YouTube channels, and Doug TenNapel told me, "Oh, you'll do 6 figures, no problem, based on the size of my YouTube channels." And I just said, "You're high, dude. You're on mushrooms. Like, you have no idea what my audience is. Like, how could you even say that? Because you have no idea the things that I know." So I'm sure he said something similar. I'm sure he said something similar to that to Sean Gordon Murphy, like, you're going to do $1 million easy. And Sean Gordon Murphy dialed it back to like 500,000, but still, I think he's running out of steam at about 150,000. So there's that Doug TenNapel advice again.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's exactly like I don't have a big YouTube channel, and I'm not running a crowdfund campaign, but I've been observing all of this since the start, and I can just say, just through observable patterns, just looking at how everybody's funding's gone, it takes more than just a sizable channel, or like a good Twitter account, or really Ethan Van Sciver is kind of like the Michael Jordan of it, because he's managed to pump it in. He's managed to pump his YouTube channel into his promotion, his Twitter into his promotion. He's like an Energizer bunny of like cranking out promotion for his books, and
you're
his
talking
audience
about
really
Ethan.
Ethan. Ethan's just fun all around. Doug is not fun.
Let me just kind of bring this.
If your channel's really not built, if your channel's really not built around like promoting your book or whatever, like I mean, Adam, you run a couple different channels, then they're like, you've been promoting your book and stuff, but they weren't really channels built around promoting your move into the indie market. Like, like you can't expect like your entire audience to jump on board like the comics book train, or to be the idea is
Now let me extrapolate on that real quick. Because not only that, but I think someone in Adam's position actually has to take it a step further and weigh the consequence of promoting a comic book with his style of content, because a lot of people probably tune into him to hear his hot takes on certain things, and see the debates and things of that nature. Some of them might look at comic books and go, "What is this guy, 12? Comic books are for kids."
No, you're right.
And you have to be prepared to possibly even start bleeding subscribers if you start promoting too heavily on a channel that doesn't
true.
focus on something like that. So that's another leap that Doug TeNapel didn't necessarily warn you about. But
I feel like if me and Church tried to go into politics on this channel,
we do that enough already.
I would support that. It would be hilarious.
No, we've gotten a little bit ahead of the ball. I did have a couple of questions that I normally ask all of our guests to kind of get a baseline, because again, this is the Gospel of Comics. I am a 30-year comic fan. I've been reading comic books since I could pick up pieces of paper and destroy them, much to my father's chagrin. I have been reading since the late 80s, early 90s. I saw the boom in comics. I watched Superman die. I watched Hal Jordan heel turn and then face turn again. I watched them fridge a woman with Kyle Rayner. I watched them, completely destroy the X-Men 5 times over the course of my life. I've lived through 2 Secret Wars.
How many Infinite
Secret Wars reference, everybody mark off your bingo cards.
On the bingo cards, that's right. How did you get
We have that too. We do the bingo cards.
Oh, that's yeah. Ours is tech issues, audio issues, Church is muted, Church references Secret Wars, Ayrton gets fired, Denny crashes the show, Poe makes everyone cringe.
I was here from the beginning.
But
I think it's Denny derails the show.
How did you get into comic books, Mr. Brendan? Where was your introduction to comic books? Were you reading from a kid? What did you read? That kind of stuff.
Well, I've always been an artist. I grew up an artist. I was always doing T-shirts and graphics and stuff like that. So comic books were always interesting to me. I wasn't a big reader. I've been dyslexic my whole life, so reading comic books was not really my thing, but I bought comic books to look at the pictures. And I had a subscription to Heavy Metal Magazine for a long time. So I read some of the short form stuff, but I wasn't really I can't honestly say that I was really following X-Men or following Superman or any of that kind of stuff. Just as an artist, as someone who has always written, I always thought making a comic book would be fun to do. So I actually joined YouTube. I started in earnest. I was going to do a graphic novel in 2015. And I had another friend of mine that did a graphic novel. He's just a writer. He's not an artist. And he paid an artist to do the graphic novel. And it was amazing. He did such a great job. But that graphic novel didn't make him any money. He wasn't able to sell it. And I just kind of had that epiphany that really, in order to do anything like this, you need a platform. So after he kind of crashed and burned on that, I started YouTube. I figured I would see what I could do about growing a platform first. And I kind of fell in love with YouTube along the way. So this is kind of returning back to my roots for the reason why I joined YouTube. But yeah, so I don't know. I can't really go toe to toe with you guys on, what the various storylines in the various comics.
Well, that's fine.
Not a lot of pretty pictures.
Not a lot of people even in this call can with me. I'll pull out.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'll pull out Arm Fall Off Boy and just ruin everybody.
There's not a lot of nerds out there like Church and I.
I had 2 friends of mine in college that were super into the X-Men. They were reading the X-Men all the time. They were constantly talking about the X-Men. And I was super into the Bible at the time. So,
well, I mean,
talk about the ultimate nerd.
Well, the Bible was adapted into comics. So
I'm sure it was.
I have a copy of that actually somewhere.
But
funny that you're
the Action Bible.
Tracks. Does anybody know what chick tracks are?
Yes.
No.
Oh. Yeah, they was a book and a vinyl, right?
No, they were these tiny little 3 by 4 inch comic books made by Jack T. Trick, who is Jack T. Chick, who is this religious pastor who made all of these
they were
duper
they were
crazy religious like propaganda comic books, and they're really tiny. I ordered a full set of all the ones that are available from his website several years ago.
You know what the irony of that is that those books were the same size as the pornography versions of the Tijuana Bibles that came out in the 70s. Like the little porno comics.
They're tiny. I don't.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if they're exactly the same size as that.
A lot of the Tijuana Bibles were like 2x3 and 3x4. They were little flip books. They were pocket-sized flip books for soldiers.
Yeah, that's kind of what these are. Yeah.
But
I live in a town where like there's a few like really big evangelical churches, and people will leave those as tips in restaurants.
Oh my goodness!
Now
that's horrible.
You said you didn't really follow a lot of storylines and hold toe to toe, but anybody who has the wherewithal to write a story, a comic book, and plan out a graphic novel, and I want to get into your project as well.
Well, I was doing when they were reading X-Men and I was reading the Bible, I was writing theater pieces and I was writing short stories, and like I've always been writing fiction myself. I've always more been into writing my own fiction than like reading a lot of fiction. So I would do zines. I would illustrate my own stuff.
I remember you talking. I was listening to you talk about like making zines and stuff earlier, and it's like I feel like I just missed that era. Well, I was born just slightly too late.
My
question, that is the pre-internet stuff.
Yeah.
My question actually evolved into a two-parter. When you were into comics, did you ever latch on to a singular character from any particular era or company or anything like that? Was there something that really resonated with you and you were like,
I
go ahead.
Love Sin City. I absolutely love Sin City.
So Frank
I
Miller's
love that.
work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love that grungy noir type stuff. Yes, definitely.
Fantastic.
What do you think about the movie The Spirit by Frank Miller?
This is a controversial take, but I actually love The Spirit. Like I loved it when it came out.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't understand. Everyone was talking smack about it, and I didn't understand because I thought, man, this movie's good.
I think I can clear that up.
Not good.
As a piece of cinematography, it's awful, but it is the incarnation of a comic book as a movie.
Oh, it is,
but maybe not The Spirit.
No,
I don't know.
But it wasn't supposed to be like the spirit. Like it wasn't supposed to be Will Eisner's The Spirit. It was supposed to be a joke. I mean, come on, Sam Jackson in a Nazi uniform. That was absolutely fabulous. Like you can't.
I will never forget the way Sam Jackson yelled, "No egg
on my face!"
I convinced my parents to take me to see that in theaters when I was like 11.
Now we do have a couple of questions queuing up for you. I was actually DM'd one earlier, and it's a little bit antagonistic. I don't know how you feel about that. And feel free to just.
I ain't got no problem. Go ahead.
But being involved in Comicsgate and being there from basically its inception, because like you said, you kind of plotted out the business model of Comicsgate before Comicsgate was a thing. Are you familiar with the, Malin, Rob Casey, War Campaign, Cecil incident?
That is with Star Wars. That Star Wars girl, right?
I think that was the onset of it, but it evolved into something that was between Malin and Rob Casey over likes and retweets and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
I find it hard to actually take a side on something like that because none of it affects me. Like, I don't care. I'm here for good books. I'm here for different reasons than, personal vendettas. That's not what I'm about here. I'm not here to start fights. This isn't, comics blood sports 101. But the question came in, and do you think that there is a situation within Comicsgate where creators' opinions are being valued over customers? With how it was posed to me.
Well, it depends, because it's a kind of a weird situation. Like my philosophy is always, I don't want to talk smack about other creators, because I don't really want them to downplay my campaign. It's kind of a professional courtesy thing.
Right.
So I'm like, we're talking about 3 different creators. So I really don't, I hate being a fence sitter. I have
that's well within your
solid opinions.
I explained to everybody that sent me a question that, I'm not going to ask my guests or put them on anything. It was a really hard situation.
War Campaign.
Oh, go ahead.
I like War Campaign. I like Rob Casey. I got Rob Casey's book. I got War Campaign's book. Yeah. I think Malin's the only book that I didn't get, but I like Malin, and I've done live streams with Malin and stuff. So as creators, I don't want people to not buy one of their books because of my opinion. So I really feel my hands are really tied on weighing in on other creators out of courtesy, and obviously I can't weigh in on the fans, because I don't want to discourage the fans from saying whatever they want, man. You have the right, as a fan, you have the right to denigrate any campaign you feel like denigrating. You have the right to back any campaign you want to back. I mean, that's one of the core tenets of Comicsgate, is just to be able to speak your mind without some creator saying, you're a piece of shit, don't buy my book.
Yeah, if I could cut in real quick, I really respect that.
You're going to anyways.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna and I am, so shut up, Ayrton. You're fired. Bingo.
So I say I will never criticize another creator except for Doug TenNapel. He's a lying piece of shit, and he can go fuck himself. So aside from that, that's my only thing. But I am actually
my language here.
I am actually, Danny, I am actually trying not to talk so much shit about Doug TenNapel, because Doug TenNapel lied to me. Well, he lied to me about 3 times, and so it's personal with me and Doug. He lied about stupid shit. I'm like, why the hell would you lie about that? And he seemed like he didn't even care he was lying, which I don't know. Everyone has known some chronic liars in their lifetime.
Yeah, and that sounds exactly like something Doug TenNapel would do.
So those people are just, they're coat chasers. They're more interested in getting ahead than making relationships. And I just I'm doing this because it's fun. Well, I like hanging out with people.
I've always said that if Doug TenNapel, for whatever reason, thought he could make more money siding with Kick Vic and the people that don't like rackets, or Maddox and the people that don't like Dick Masterson, or anybody that he's allied with right now, if he thought he could make more money siding with the opposite of them, he would do it. He would without a second thought.
Well,
I'm thoroughly convinced of that.
Let me just extrapolate.
I gotta jump off, actually.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
I just wanted to
take
say
care,
bye
Denny.
to everybody.
Thank you
for coming
again.
on, Adam.
We'll talk to you next time.
Take care, man.
You're fired, Denny. Get out here.
I'll see you guys.
Get out.
Shut up, Ayrton.
You're fired.
That was Church that said that, you ass.
I don't care.
Do we need to get the Don on the line? We can actually get the Don on the line since Adam's here.
Oh no!
I'm gonna
don't make us unleash the Don.
Let's see if we can get the Don on the line. Mr. President, I'm gonna send him a text message real quick. We're like that. All right, I think he's calling in. Here we go.
You're fired.
Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate it.
That was awesome.
We appreciate it. Thank you for waiting.
Fired.
But no, I think to extrapolate on it, it's really a fan thing to kind of decide, and that's their right to do. I don't think it's anybody's place to tell a fan what they can and can't think, and I think a disagreement between creators really should stay between those creators. Once it gets beyond
like we always say,
it becomes a shit show, for lack of a better word.
What we always say on the show, is we don't care what two grown men are fighting out.
Yeah, exactly.
We just want entertaining comics.
No, I only care when I get blocked on Twitter, like when I ask Rob Liefeld to draw me some feed on commission when he opens.
Like Comic Book Hut, you little bitch.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, he's the worst too. That guy.
But
hi, yes, we can officially be friends now.
He's not a creator, so we can talk shit about him all we want.
I have a feud with him because he blocked me live on air.
Yeah, he blocked Ayrton on both of his accounts. He blocked me on an account. He blocked like 30 accounts to try and find my my alt account that I was following him to keep up with his tweets.
He blocked a few of our followers.
Yeah, he's blocked me too.
But no, the second question I'll go ahead and get to Chad Middleton's. What's Adam's opinion on diamond distribution? He asked that.
I don't know much about that stuff.
Oh, would you like me to go off? I can do that.
Yeah. Fill me in on the diamond distribution, because
Ayrton, does he know what he just asked for?
I'm gonna no, but I'm gonna go take a nap. I'll be back when you're done in the rant.
All right. So diamond distribution in the late 70s, early 80s started amassing a monopoly that culminated in the 90s, where they were the only distribution outlet for comic books. And at that point, that is when the predatory practice of multiple covers, holofoil, and raising the price of comic books nonchalantly, all of that stuff started to take place. And the sale, instead of being to the consumer as the number counted because you were accepting returns, well, they only accepted certain returns on hot books. When they needed the backstock because they didn't print enough. Instead of actually the old way of, well, if we ship you 200 copies and you only sell 5, rip the covers off the rest of them and we'll give you credit kind of thing. You remember?
Yeah,
that's how magazines work. So
yeah, exactly.
At the point that Diamond Distribution had control of the comic book industry, it was really only a matter of time before the complacency that took over DC and Marvel Comics with their woke politics and their lackluster hiring, everything of that nature, just kind of culminated into the downfall of the medium that I have loved for my entire life. And it's a little bit of a personal problem. You get
bad incentives, totally bad incentives.
Well, I mean,
not incentivized to actually sell those comics to the customer because they're selling them to the store, and they could care less if they sell.
Right, because the store is not able to send them back, and that honestly, like, I will debate anyone, anytime, anywhere on that is the reason that comic books have failed as a medium.
Yeah,
and why Captain Marvel has been rebooted 23 times in the past 4 years.
Well, 8 or 9, but who's counting besides me?
Close enough.
So that's diamond distribution in the nutshell.
You got the social justice advocates like pushing their politics into all the comics. They basically want to turn comics into left-wing propaganda instead of telling a compelling story. Right. It's so crazy. It's crazy.
You have these arguments with people, and you say, I like to go back to a time where comics were apolitical. And they don't understand that you don't mean that you can't have a political lineage to comics. I mean, I own a reprint of the comic where on the cover Captain America is punching out Hitler. You're not going to convince me one day or any other that that's not, World War II propaganda. It is. However,
yes, I agree.
Captain America's character is World War II propaganda, but you write compelling stories with him when you have Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, who... little known fact, served in a unit with Dr. Seuss during the war.
Really? Wow, yes. That's crazy.
Yes. They were actually, just because you have politics in comics doesn't mean they have to be divisive politics. Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog, for one. I mean, just to get an idea for when it takes place, you see Bill Clinton in the comic. Because, I
saw that.
That puts us in the 90s, right? That puts us in a time and place before Barack Obama and George Bush. That puts us pre 9/11.
I remember that.
And then you have.
I read that. I read the Starr Report. Did you guys read the Starr Report?
The Starr Report.
Yeah, the report when because Bill Clinton, I believe, what in Cyberfrog isn't he talking about the Monica Lewinsky thing?
Yeah.
I believe he is. Yeah, I read that Starr Report. My roommate had printed it out.
Oh yeah. You're talking about the actual. You're talking about the actual publication.
Yeah.
I thought you meant.
Oh my God, salacious stuff.
What does "is" mean?
Exactly. Well, the cigar, like he put a cigar up her hoo-ha, and then gave it to somebody.
Flavor.
Some diplomat came in and he gave the cigar to the diplomat to smoke.
The funny thing is, like, Ayrton made that offhand comment. He's a tobaccoist. Like, that's what he does. He sells cigars for a living.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm
hilarious.
One right now, as a matter of fact.
Hilarious. Where's that cigar been?
Well, probably not inside of Monica Lewinsky.
You don't know that.
I hope you're not smoking that priceless fortune. You sell that to a sheik or something, right? But
yeah, definitely.
Anyway, no.
I wonder if he kept that cigar butt.
Now we've got about 15 minutes left in our
probably in like
time frame here. What can you tell us about your upcoming project? You haven't gone live with it yet, so I can't pull it up for the audience. But I heard about it on the Sargon of Akkad stream, and I'm very interested just based on the title. So what are you willing to talk about involved?
It's called Super Villains Anonymous, and we are I guess the thing to talk about is the self-inserts. It's funny because Comicsgate, there's a lot of Comicsgate is vocally anti-self-inserts, but there's a lot of Comicsgate projects with self-inserts.
I mean, Cash Grab is literally a self-insert book, so
I know exactly. That Umbrella Guy has a self-insert.
Yeah, and the Goody Bird. Well, his book is a self-insert, but if you have Goody Bird, I mean, it's basically a CG lore storytelling device.
Well, this is the thing, and it's funny because this is one of the things too with Marvel and DC, because they can hire subpar writers because it's so much work to develop a character that people fall in love with. That is the hardest part of writing. So you can hand a character off to a Donny Cates, and he doesn't have to be that good a writer. He just has to use the character that people already love. And this is another reason why people get so angry, because they love the character so much, and when the writer doesn't treat the character that they love with respect, they feel like they're denigrating a part of their history. And the social justice side really loves to take these characters that we've grown up with, and in order to force them into their political propaganda, they have to completely change the character. Like, Captain America is now a Nazi. Like, he doesn't even like America anymore.
The real Captain America has always been a Nazi, and the only one that's still good is the one that was imagined from Bucky's head.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the problem. But the reason why we are doing the self-insert stuff is we do a weekly show. We've been doing it for we've been doing 80 episodes, and we do it once a week. So I think we're coming up on 2 years here. And people like us. People want to buy our comic because they like us. They like our characters. It's the same thing with Cecil. Like, people love Cecil, so obviously they want to see Cecil in a book.
Right.
So that's why we've gone in that direction. But it's the name of the book is Super Villains Anonymous. It came out of an idea that I had when I first got a manager here in Los Angeles. And I had you don't get a manager in Los Angeles until you have a project that people are interested in. So when they send you to shop stuff around, they want you to have other projects, because a lot of the places say, that's not really what we're looking for right now. What else do you got? So my manager wanted me to cook up as many log lines as I could. I cooked up about 60 log lines. And out of those 60 log lines, I just started going through with my writing partner who I do the show with. And Supervillains Anonymous was the one that he liked and he thought we could develop into a good story. The log line is, in a future perfect world where hunger and disease have been completely eliminated, a rebel band of supervillains struggles to return the world to its more dangerous and magnificent days. So it really is about, so it's got like a social justice theme to it where everyone is just, it's safe space and trigger warning. What was it? Well, who were the characters? It was Safe Space
and Snowflake.
Snowflake, exactly. So the world is basically full of.
Are the streets paved with poppies?
Basically, I mean, you can't really get hurt. So it's, the world has been taken over by supervillains, but the supervillains realized that they actually had to run the place. So the supervillains have really turned into like Safe Space and Snowflake. Like they're supervillains, but really only in name only. Like you have to get permits to commit crimes and.
Yeah, it's like a Kim Jong-un type situation where you're a bad guy to the rest of the world, but to your people, you're like the saving grace kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we're stuck in this world, and we're low level villains. We're like rank 1 brawlers. And we're trying to move up the villain hierarchy, but it's super hard because there's all these privileged fucks out there standing in our way. We just get doled out supervillain rank points right and left, and like everything we do, the world is basically stacked against us. So we come up with a plan, an evil diabolical plan to get ahead. So, and we're as we're going deeper into villainy, we're kind of conflicted in possibly turning into heroes. It really walks that line on what a hero is and what a villain is.
I was gonna ask, like, would the story be more compelling if it was heroes having to disrupt the perfect society in order to return the status quo, so that they would have something to fight, or because
that's exactly where we go. That's exactly where we go. Yeah.
Well, you guys.
Now, please tell me you have a police officer go up to somebody and say, "Hey, mate, do you have a license to commit this crime you're doing right here?"
We have something very, very similar to that. Yes.
Okay.
People are arrested. People are arrested for acts of heroism.
That's fantastic. You don't have a license to be a vigilante, mate. Get in the car. Taking you down to the big house. That sounds fantastic.
We're trying to keep it. Yeah, we're trying to keep it because it's funny. We were talking about the apolitical aspect of Comicsgate, and we don't want to be. I don't want to be preachy. We don't want to be preachy. So we do a bunch of jokes and stuff like that, but we want the story to stand alone on its own merit. So we make some safe space and Snowflake jokes, but we don't try to really attack the progressive side or the conservative side. Like we try to.
I think there's a fair difference between mocking the extreme left and ridiculing the moderate left. I think there's a safe difference in that regard. If you're parading your kid around as a drag queen at 8-10 years old, maybe you're the problem. But if you're a grown person and you decide that you want to transition or make some kind of change to your life that I don't personally agree with, that's none of my damn business because you're a grown adult.
Yes.
Just don't shove it in my face. Like,
get weird tattoos and plastic surgery to look like a fucking cat or whatever the hell.
If you want to do that, that's fine. Just stay out of my bubble with it. That's all I ask.
Just don't knocking on my door, because who knows what'll happen if I see that.
Live and let live.
Absolutely.
Both sides have had a live and let live attitude. It's funny because when I was growing up, the right was the one that was a little less live and let live. They were the ones who were the evangelical Christians, and they wanted to make porn and video games illegal. Now the right is really the more live and let live side, and it's the left that's like, oh, you got to use the right pronouns, and you can't.
We're just trying to keep this stuff
from
use collapsing.
These words.
Ayrton
don't say fish.
Yes.
Ayrton and I fall onto the right-leaning libertarian side of things. We're
Yes.
very, very, just stay away from my firearms. Don't tell me how to raise my kids,
Well,
and don't raise my
Yeah.
goddamn
I'm
taxes.
borderline an anarchist.
Yeah. Second Amendment serves a very important purpose. The Second Amendment is what keeps our government shackled.
Well,
We don't want to let the Leviathan loose.
Well, I'm one of
Yeah.
those weird libertarians. I will happily give my guns to any authority that wants to come take them one bullet at a time. Your hot
Don't
dog
go
salesman.
full Ruby Ridge on us.
Your hot dog salesman. Your politics are not important. Just tell a good story. That's exactly the point. I actually had a guest on. He's a writer, much like yourself. Well, not much like yourself, but he is also a career writer, editor, publisher type guy, and he is publishing a series of books called Splatter Westerns. And I've been in talks with him to try and get him into contact with some people to kind of guide along the way of converting some of the novels into Splatter Western, which are old school Western, Clint Eastwood / horror genre. Um, Converting those into graphic novels, either in like an anthology format or a full comic book format. And because I read both of his books, and they're not highfalutin scholarly reading, but they would convert well into a graphic novel medium. And
That's cool. That's cool.
He just said, I fall into the libertarian, right leaning party, but I don't discuss my politics, and I don't ever discredit someone who's the best person for the job, regardless of anything. You can disagree politically and still make a good team as long as you leave it at the door. You're there to sell comic books, not convert people to your church, so to speak. So
yeah, exactly. Your political ideology. People have gotten so brazen about talking about their politics at work and at church and at the grocery store, and it's just so crazy.
Seems to be more one side over the other, though.
Oh, I agree. Agree.
Can I ask how young are you, sir?
Me, I might be older than you guys. I'm 50.
You're 50. Holy shit! You've got to be screwing with me.
Nobody ever believes me. I'm older than Adam Post.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. When Denny first told me,
how old are you guys?
Well, first off, let me tell you this: when Denny first booked you, I thought you were Adam Post. I was like, "Oh, cool, the College of the Dead guy," and he's like, "No, Adam friended the other guy," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
But I look a lot younger than I actually am, so people usually freak out when I tell them how old I am. But you asked, so how old are you guys?
I will be 33 this year.
I'm 29.
Okay, so I got you guys beat by a long shot.
Well, I mean, I have 3 children, a little bit, so I'm not sure about
that. Well, good. You're as old as my car, sir.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids, so that gives me another decade at least. Come on.
Oh, definitely. Yes, definitely. And that's, I believe, one of the reasons I look as young as I do is because I've never had kids. So.
Oh yeah, you never had to stay awake until 5 o'clock in the morning.
You probably don't smoke and drink like I do.
Yeah, kids age you tremendously. You're always sitting up in bed wondering, where the fuck are my kids? Oh my God, the kids! What's going on with the kids?
Marty, it's your kids,
I sleep
Marty.
like a baby.
Marty, you have to get back.
Yeah,
you have to go back. It's your kids. Sorry.
Yes,
the silence is so peaceful. Wait a second. What are the kids getting into?
Exactly. That is legitimately a thought I have on a daily basis. Oh, man. But anyway, I would like to formally invite you on for a repeat. We only got a minute or 2 left, but I would like to formally invite you back on for a repeat appearance when your project finally launches.
Sure.
Delta Spurt Force in the chat says,
interested in this.
Holy shit, Adam! You look way younger. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know.
I'm calling
So in
BS. I'm going to
so in
need to see some government
1984,
ID.
so in nine, so in I don't usually like to dox my age because people start digging into you when you tell your age, but sometimes I like to freak people out a bit because so in 1984 when I sold my soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you what kind of moisturizer you use.
I mean, I was hinting at it because my friends in college were reading X-Men. So what I got like 17 years on you?
No, X-Men has been being published for 50 years now, so
yeah, I mean, there you go.
I mean, you could have been in college 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just to be fair,
hasn't it?
Oh yeah, You were going
has
to,
it changed a lot?
You were going to college during the Claremont days, the Dark Phoenix saga, and the Shi'ar Empire, and the Brood, and all of the best X-Men storylines to keep getting revisited by all these imitators who don't know how to write X-Men.
So
recently, Jonathan
when did X-Men
Hickman,
launch?
X-Men launched in, I believe, the 70s. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say like 76.
Okay.
I thought it was earlier than that.
The early 90s is when my friends were reading it. So
let me pull that up real quick. I think 63. Never mind. So X-Men been around since 1963, and they were created by none other than Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
And probably other people that didn't get credit for it.
Yeah. No,
so
we're not asking.
It had been around for a long time.
We're not asking what year Adam graduated high school. Cameron, I'm sorry. We're not doxing him any further than that.
Cameron Gilchrist is great. He's a regular watcher on my channel.
He's as old as the X-Men.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Nobody believes me.
How's it going, Alaska?
I'm going to start telling people. I'm going to start telling people I'm 50. I'm going to start telling people I'm 60.
To be as old as the X-Men.
There we go. Exactly.
But, and then in a few weeks, you'll be saying 70 and.
But no.
And
so forth.
Anyway, to finish my initial statement, no, I definitely want to invite you back on when you launch your campaign. I would love to go through it with you and talk about your book. We definitely appreciate you coming on. Anytime you want to talk comics or anything like that, if you want to dive into a storyline with us or talk about comic news or anything like that, the door's open to you, sir. We greatly appreciate you coming on.
That's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate it. Like I say, we just like to have a good time here. We've been lucky enough to have people like Don Chen, who is working with Ethan Van Sciver on Cyber Frog versus Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters. And he created the Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters for Parody Press back in the 80s. So, no, we've had some great guests on, and you are among their ranks. Thank you, sir. And if you have anything you want to plug or anything you want
this is why I love Comicsgate, because I feel like I'm running with a crowd that's my own age. Like there's it seems like there's a lot of creators that grew up in the early 90s, really really became adults in the early 90s. So I feel like a lot of that culture is a part of me.
I grew up in a single parent household, so I also grew up in the early 90s in my teen years. So
yeah.
I was one of those kids. Go ahead.
I was same, latchkey kid, single mom.
Single dad. So yeah. We didn't even get child support.
Yeah.
But anyway, I definitely appreciate you, sir. Your YouTube channel, Think Club, and I believe it's Friended.
Yeah.
are in the description down below. Go check those out. Subscribe to them if you're not already. Check Adam out on Twitter at Friended Forever. The number 4 Friended Forever. Follow him. Keep up. He's gonna be launching Supervillains Anonymous. Do you have an idea when you're gonna go live with that campaign?
No, I don't, because we're hopefully not too long, maybe next month, because
Okay.
we're working on the pages. We're working on we want 5 pages of interior artwork to show, obviously. So we're working on that. And actually, I was working on the script all day. My writing partner and I had basically roughed out a first draft, and I'm kind of editing that first draft down now. We got a lot of good stuff, though. It should be super funny and a lot of really cool stuff.
Well, I definitely look forward to it. And again, the door is always open.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited.
We definitely want to
Yeah.
have you back on when you launch your book. We want to promote it with you, and we want to get it out to our audience. We want to pull that up. But definitely, thank you very much for sharing your time with us and hanging out with our Spurg selves.
Well, it's cool. I had a lot of fun. I'll let you guys go.
Oh, all right, buddy. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Take care, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. We want to thank Adam again for joining us, and thank Denny for booking him. What'd you think, Eric?
Begrudgingly. Oh, that story sounds awesome.
It does.
I love it.
It's kind of like superhero. It's very existential. Like it's very,
Yeah.
you can see yourself in that situation. Like as soon as he talked about it, I'm like, wait, you've got a perfect world. I would be trying to screw that up all the time.
It reminds me of a buddy of
Dillard.
mine when he.
Dillard does the thing he always does, and he shows up right at the end of the show. Like we're getting ready to
God
log
damn
the
it,
show
Dillard.
off, and we have to.
I was gonna tell a quick story, and then we were gonna go, and you have to pop in here like an ass.
We love you, Dillard. Why you got to be so awful? Anyway,
But
hail
it makes
Dillard,
me think of
hail Delta.
yeah, I guess we can hail Dillard.
Look, do I need to fire you
A
again?
buddy of mine back in college, he was bored. He was bored one semester, so he put a like one of those flyer things where you put your phone number on like the little bit
tabs,
of
yeah.
paper that you cut, right?
Yeah, the tabs.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm looking for an arch nemesis where we just try and ruin each other's day. and he found somebody, and basically they would just pull overly elaborate pranks on each other. And I don't think they met in person for like 6 months.
I kind of want to do that now, but I'm not sure that I would just end up shooting my nemesis. Like,
right? Yeah.
Like anybody that decides they're gonna.
I couldn't.
Oh. My wife's walking around here looking like a JoJo
inconvenient
villain
stuff,
with aluminum foil on her hair. I think she's dyeing it.
Uh-oh. But like they would just stuff to inconvenient you, like leave all the caps off of your Sharpies so they dry out, or shit like that, to just be inconvenient and annoying. It was pretty entertaining.
I'm responding to the chat.
Cameron, don't take my line.
No, he can take your line. He's as old as the X-Men. He can do whatever he wants to. Legally, if he can pick it up and carry it away, he can steal things. That book you bought, I told you.
Only if
I
he
told
has a
you
license.
during the stream, Dillard. During the stream, I made multiple references that the Magpie Coffin was the better of the two books, in my opinion. Like, we talked about these things on the show. You have a grievance with it? Well, get in the green room. Get in the green room. We'll do a hash out right now. Just get in the chat.
Oh,
Come
God.
on, Dilly.
God damn it! I'm gonna have to go pour another beer for this or whiskey. I'm trying to save the whiskey for tomorrow.
No, you're just gonna have to buy new whiskey for tomorrow. Get in the call, Dillard. We'll air this out right now. Me and you, mano and mano, fisticuffs, digitally.
We've been waiting for you guys to fight for what, like 2 months now?
It's never gonna happen. How could you recommend that book with typos and all? Look, I talked to him about that on the show. You even admitted it in the Discord. You were warned. Don't make me dox your DMs that weren't DMs. They were PMs. Get in the call, Dillard. Where are you at? You scared? Are you a chicken?
Gospel Comics Blood Sports. Right here, folks. Between Church and Dillard.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys thought it was going to be me and Denny first, but no.
Oh, no, that's still going to happen.
It's going to be Church and Dillard.
But you guys are the undercard.
Well,
You and Dillard are the main event.
Yeah.
That's what people want to see.
Wanted to make sure you heard that.
Hey, thanks, Delta. We appreciate it, buddy. Have a good one. No, Dillard.
Dillard, just get in the chat.
Get in the call, Dillard. I'm calling you out. Mono e mono. 1v1, son.
Mono e Churcho.
Yeah. It's probably not going to happen. I'm probably going to close the show down.
I don't know how to say church in Spanish.
I don't either, actually. And I took Spanish for probably longer than you did. But
I didn't.
Anyway,
Spanish.
I definitely want to extend another great appreciation to Adam Friendon. We have more playbacks on this show before I close it out than we normally have on a show period. Oh shit, he's coming. He's coming. Nobody called Dillard chicken.
Oh.
Where you at,
Iglesia.
Dillard?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mono Iglesia. That's what we're about to have.
I've designed several shirts that have that word on it that are for churches. So I think Dillard might be standing me up, just making me wait around and look for him.
Probably.
This is
I'll have to sit here and just fill airtime with bullshit.
Is Dillard my nemesis? Is that what's happening here? Is he becoming my nemesis? Like,
he's been your nemesis for the longest time.
But I love Dillard. How could he be my nemesis if I love him?
Well, you're married.
I mean, that doesn't mean I can't have a mistress and Dillard. Like, come on. A little side action, a little side piece.
Yeah.
Come on,
we'll wait and see if he actually shows up. Can I just talk about how excited I am that the sound mixing board that I ordered came today?
Yeah, talk about the mixing
cool as
board.
Shit.
He's live in the Discord. I see him. He's not in the waiting room though. He's not jumping on.
Yeah,
Anyway, tell us about this mixing board.
This thing, $180. It's 12 channel, 4 main channel. The rest are all kind of like sub channels. I can run effects through this thing.
Now, what does that mean for the show? Never mind. Stop talking. Dillard, you motherfucker!
You don't tell me, motherfucker. You go fuck your mother, you motherfucker.
I mean, a mother, but not my mother. My children's mother, absolutely.
Your mother.
Your own
mother. The mother you slithered out with the rest of the filth.
No, you probably hit that, but I never will. My children's mother, on the other hand, that's a different story. And your mother. But,
My mother's dead, you son of a bitch.
Well, I'm a necrophiliac then. What do you want from me?
Church does like Alan Moore.
Anyway.
So what are you calling me out for? What are you calling me out for? I mean, are you trying to defend this book or something or what?
No. I'm trying to say the fact that I told you that if you want to read this series, you have to start with book 1, Magpie Coffin. You started with book 2.
Didn't.
I did. You just didn't watch the whole stream.
Of course I didn't watch the whole stream. What, I got a bunch of free time or what?
No, you can't say that I didn't
Come on,
say it.
delivering eggs can't be that hard.
Look, I said, oh man, I'm gonna buy this book. I'm all jazzed up. I just watched Bone Tomahawk.
How drunk were you?
The fantastic Western.
How drunk were you when you bought the book, Dillard?
I wasn't drunk at all. I love
Don't
books.
lie to me. Don't bullshit me.
And I said, "Oh man, that cover
Give
looks
me,
awesome."
give me that straight dick, Dillard. Tell me how drunk you were. Oh, excuse me.
And I
Iron
said,
Man
I
said
wanna
solid dick.
buy one of these books. I want to buy one of these books. Like, oh yeah, these books are.
And
good.
you didn't buy book one. You bought
Say
book
nothing.
two. You bought book two, and you're bitching at me that it wasn't as good. What are you doing?
It's not part 1 and part 2. It's its own thing.
No. It's not part 1 and part 2, but it's book 1 and book 2. You always start with book 1. Book 1 gets you hooked.
It's not a sequel.
It's not, but book 1 is what gets you hooked. It's a thing. I said that.
Bullshit. What? Oh, what? Now I got to read the very first thing Stephen King put out before I read anything else? No.
No, because Stephen King's a horrible writer. He has no retort to that because he knows I'm right.
Yeah, well, I don't know any other authors. I'm not exactly a smart person.
I'm not exactly well read, but I'm
You
here
also
arguing
can't read.
the contingency of a book, you know.
I can't even read, and I still found typos.
I love you, Dillard. It's just your dyslexia. That's where you found typos. No, man.
There was like, you ever read something and you're like, did I fucking read that right? And you go
Yes.
back and
Yes.
and you go back over the sentence a couple times. You say, no, I'm reading this correctly.
Yes.
This is not written correctly.
Yes, we talked about
This
that on the
happened
show.
Anytime I read an article on
If
full
you
on.
3 times before I got to page 9.
If you had showed up at the beginning of the show instead of the end of the show like you usually do,
Well, I'm sorry, I only
We
showed
had
up at
addressed
the end of
that.
the show when you were busy sucking his dick and telling me how great the book was and how I should buy it.
look, it's not my fault. Not my fault, man. Look, I will buy 2
Hanging out
copies.
of your mouth. What do you mean it's not your fault?
I will buy 2 copies of The Buckler to make it up to you. All right, just get the fucking book on Indiegogo, you bitch.
I mean, to be fair, the second copy he's just going to mail to me, so I don't have to back it.
That's right. But that's 2 sales off the cuff. Look, you need me to suck your dick now too? Whip it out, big boy.
You gotta back the Buckler. The Buckler's for mature readers.
Well, I will definitely be backing you then. I am
Is it
immature
though?
as fuck. I can actually drink whiskey when Dillard's on stream. Hell yeah.
See, Chad Milton says those typos are Jeff Bezos censoring the book.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Probably.
That's right. Those typos,
I don't
those
trust
words
that
that aren't
guy.
there, the words that aren't there, they were like all the bad words that Jeff Bezos doesn't like.
Yeah, but the
All
words
the
that was
gamer
missing
words.
were words like to or words
Nah,
like
man.
and.
No.
No, man. They were communism and, fucking individual centralized payments and whatnot. Like, what is it? What's that shit that communists always want?
What the fuck is this guy babbling about?
I don't know.
What's that fucking that just give me money shit that communists are always like simping for? Universal basic income.
Wealth?
You're talking
Yeah.
about
Oh,
Obama
UBI.
phones?
No, universal basic
Obama
income.
gave us a phone.
That's right. Obama phone was one of the words that Jeff Bezos censored.
That's how I could be on the gram all day long. I'm on the gram thanks to Obama.
Oh, he sent you a smartphone? That motherfucker only sent
he
me a
sent
flip
me-
phone. And then his vice president
me
told
a
me that I wasn't black.
Smartphone. And then he sent me a bill. He sent me a bill for not having medical insurance, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I told him I was too poor to have that, and he just gave me a pass on it.
Oh man, I should have done that.
Yeah, you should have. Sign up with TurboTax. They give you the option. Could you afford insurance through your job with Obamacare? No. I don't know if I could afford it or not. I just didn't have it. I just said no. And they said, fine, you get a waiver.
Or just do what I did and just say, yeah, you have it, because they don't ask for any proof that you have insurance.
They really don't, no. But you actually get a bigger tax break if you say I couldn't afford it.
Oh my god, I got to learn all these tricks you white people use.
What do you mean, you white people, Dillard?
I mean, you being a representative of all white trash that I know.
Look, I am a building, sir. I would appreciate it if you didn't, misrace me like that.
Yeah, but you're a building in like where are you from? Missouri or something?
Arkansas, you fuck. There's lots of black people in Arkansas.
Close enough.
Over by the Chattahoochee or something like that.
Look, don't disrespect Native American culture like that, Dilly.
Don't give us the name of the stripper you were banging the other week.
No, that's Chattahoochee.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I don't hear very well.
It's a Chattahoochee because it claps and it talks.
That's right. No, I'm sorry you didn't like the book, Dillard. I actually did like both books, despite their mistakes.
No, I actually haven't finished it. I have not finished the book, but
Okay.
it kind of pulled me out.
It's hard.
Times.
Yeah, you got to get past
No,
chapter
so
5, and after chapter 5, you're in. I will tell you that.
Okay.
So,
like when you first read, I don't know if you've read the Chisholm Trail one, but
Yeah,
it is
I've read
a little
both.
bit. It's a
It's
little
boring.
bit heavy-handed with
it's boring
with
at the first 5.
tropes.
It's boring in the first 5 chapters. But anyway, I was only supposed to be on stream for an hour. I am 20 minutes over budget. I
What,
love
got a
you
hot
guys.
date? Yeah, right.
I'm married, Dillard. I always have a hot date. What can you say, sir? Sir?
Now I gotta break out my marriage certificate and shit, or what?
That's right. Dox your marriage certificate and your real name. That's what I want. I got aluminum foil Medusa running around the house. I love her so much. She just flipped me the bird. But no. Anyway,
Well, end your stream then. What are you doing?
that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna give everybody a chance. Dillard, when are you planning on launching the buckler, sir?
I don't know.
You don't-
For a while.
You don't fucking know. What the hell? You mean I'm gonna have the Canadian Shield? I'm gonna have to wait on the buckler? The fuck is wrong with you?
That ash can is already done. That's done.
No. I want the buckler
No,
comic.
not the ash can.
Now the buckler, that's a different story. That's going to be coming along with something a little bit nuanced, a little bit different, and it's going to be very exciting. So the buckler itself is going to be comprised of a.
Are you writing it out of Taco Bell nacho cheese?
A little bit. It's going to be comprised of 2 novellas.
Okay.
And a board game.
What?
It's going to come along with the comic book. Yeah. So
Are you
I
shitting
have
me?
to play a goddamn board game to read your story.
Shut up, Ayrton. I need something to do on the weekends when my wife has gone to her mother's.
Yeah, I can't be pandering to these broke comic people that that don't have no money. I got to pander to the people that actually have money, like people that play board games.
I'm so glad only 2 people are
Hey,
watching now, so they don't have to listen to Dillard be ignorant.
Yeah, one of those people watching is me.
Yeah, I know.
And the other,
The other one's
one's
probably
me.
Ayrton. Chad even left you, Dillard. You're alone.
Chad, I need you.
Anyway, go ahead if you got anything you want to plug, your YouTube, your Twitter.
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel, and matter of fact, I'm working on some centerpieces for my kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
It's an Under the Sea theme, so I'm working on some
Under
floral,
the sea.
Exactly.
Under the sea.
And,
Sorry.
yeah.
I have
It's
daughters.
always greener in somebody else's lake. Yeah, me too. So she's super into everything mermaid except for the original Little Mermaid movie.
Isn't that a
'Cause it's
bitch?
too dark.
Well, of course.
It looks sepia. She doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm working on some really cool dioramas of some coral stuff. So I'm gonna be throwing out a video. It's gonna be like a how-to video for crafting these things. So keep an eye out for that on my YouTube channel.
Oh, how heterosexual of you.
Right.
I just dropped a link to Mr. Dillard Draw's YouTube channel in the chat. It's youtube.com/JohnDillard1. So follow
go
him,
over there and
subscribe
sub.
him. And can they find you on Twitter, sir?
They can find me on Twitter, and my handle is @DillardDraws.
DILLARDDRAWS.
There you go.
So thank you, sir,
Just like underwear.
for coming on to. No, that's drawers. There's an extra W in there somewhere. Anyway, thank you for
See, I
coming
can't
on
read.
to squash our beef. I
Nope.
appreciate it.
Church, there's an extra ER somewhere in there. If you're a dictionary.
I can't read either, Eric.
I'm a building. I'm not a dictionary.
That's right. Anyway, Ayrton, get us out of here, man. We're embarrassing ourselves at this point.
Don't let me
He
in
can't
with you
even
two
do
assholes. Good night, everybody.
I broke him. All right, later, guys.
There you go. Hashtag more money for Dillard. That's what I'm talking about.